Today I am giving you a November reading wrap-up. Finally remembered to do one for the month that has just gone. So I am ready to talk all things spooky books, so strap on in. I'm going in the order I read them, not from like worst to best, best to worst. The first book I read in November was Break Room. This is a little, for some reason it was put in the thriller section at the bookstore that I got it at, but I wouldn't call it a thriller. Literally, it's just like it was very unusual. I did really enjoy it though, and I love this cover. Stunning. Basically like a game show that's invented about who's the biggest villain in the break room at the office. So people across the country have voted the villain of their break room into this show. So people get cast in it off recommendations of people they work with, their co-workers. And so we're following like a group of 5 or 6 that end up actually participating in the game show. And they have to break the rules in order to get clues about the other contestants, because one person in the game show was a plant by the producers. And they're in this show for 5 days, for the full week, and they're expected to work from home essentially. Like they all get a room. And it's really good. Like it was only like 120 pages. It wasn't thriller, it wasn't anything, but it was thrilling, I suppose. Like it was really enjoyable. Very quick, easy read. I do highly suggest. I believe this is a Korean author, a Korean novel, and I really enjoyed the translation. I do recommend. I believe, let me see what I gave it. Let me have a look. I haven't rated like any of the books yet, but I would probably just give it like a 3.5. It was enjoyable and fun, easy to read, and a good one for your end of year if you need to tick off a little novella for your end of year reading goals. I was on a bit of a kick with the translated books, and so I picked up Strange Houses. I have seen the other one by this author, Strange Pictures, which I do want to read. I almost bought it the other day. I haven't yet because I did really, really enjoy this one. This is definitely more of a thriller, kind of horror, I suppose, but also like murder mystery. It was really interesting. I thoroughly enjoyed it. A sinister hidden room, a dead space between 2 walls, a sealed cellar, a child's face glimpsed at a window. Every house hides secrets, but some secrets are far darker than others. More than 1 million readers have discovered the terrible truth behind these strange houses. Now it's your turn. I really thought this was interesting. The way it was written was kind of like a transcript of conversation the whole time. Like even here, you can see it's kind of like a transcript. The characters talking, and we also get like the floor plans of the houses throughout. Very engaging, and you really feel like you're part of solving the mystery, if that makes sense. Like all of these creepy things. And it was fun because it was like I was trying to pick up on things before it got revealed. Like every time a new floor plan or connection to the main story would get added in, I was trying to find like what was unusual about this house, this new one that we're getting. But like I said, it's almost like a script. It's almost like a play. Can you see that? That makes it really, really quick to read, really engaging, and really unique. I'm giving it 4 stars. I can't wait to read Strange Pictures. I would highly recommend if you're a bit of a thriller lover and you like a good Japanese translated novel. Again, really short. This is only 190 pages. Smash it out. Really enjoyable. Next one I picked up was The Compound. I thought this was going to be more thriller based than it actually ended up being. I was hooked for a while. I thought like the plot is good. Like it's about like women, they wake up in a compound, a house, essentially like Love Island is what I was picturing the whole time, but in like the desert. Yeah, Love Island. The men haven't arrived yet. They've got to do personal tasks and group tasks to win rewards and to actually get things for the house to set it up for what they want, how they want to live. It says here, soon 10 men will arrive on foot. If they all survive the journey, what will you have to do to win and what happens to the losers? Now, I'm not going to spoil, this is a spoil-free channel, unless it says I'm going to spoil things, which I'm not. But even just off the back of that, I thought we would find out what happens to the losers. I feel like it didn't quite match. To me personally, I was very dissatisfied with the ending. Again, not spoiling, but you're free to jump ahead if this is too much, but I thought the ending, it ended very abruptly, out of nowhere, with no answers, almost like the author didn't actually know how to end it. And that frustrated me after all that time. It's very character driven, however, the characters are very two-dimensional. And I think that's a disservice to a lot of the people that might actually be on these shows. I have actually watched Love Island. I enjoy things like Too Hot to Handle. I enjoy a bit of that trash TV. I really do. But I think those people, there's more to them than just that. Our main character is one of the most boring female main characters you're ever going to read. You aren't rooting for her. You don't care. And I suppose that's the point, is I became that audience, wanting more, wanting that thrilling element, wanting them to go to the extremes to get prizes, to win, to, I don't know. And I get that it was kind of commentary on what audiences, our hunger as an audience, an anonymous person behind a screen watching real people go through things. And I understand that. It's not lost on me, but I didn't think it was executed very well. I did enjoy it about halfway. I was starting to lose interest. And again, none of the characters, you're not rooting for anyone. I didn't really enjoy any of the characters. There was a few moments where it's finally like, hey, a bit of thriller thing. Like there was one time where one character, when he came back to the compound and he was acting real wacko, and it felt like it was leading up to an explanation about what happens with the producers and all this sort of stuff. And fucking nothing happened. Well, pardon my French, but nothing happened. There was no explanation. And it just like the next morning he was back to normal. I didn't enjoy it. I gave this 2.5 stars. Unfortunately, I was very excited to read it. But again, ending didn't save it for me. Very unlikable cast of characters. No plot. And like I said, the commentary about audiences' hunger for more from these sorts of people, from reality television shows, what producers will do. Also, like, consumerism is such a big thing in it too, and what you'll do to get your things. But again, I just don't think it was done very well in this context. So 2.5 stars from me. Next up was Polybius by Colin Armstrong. I freaking love this cover. Oh yes. It took me so long to find. I think this is from Canada. I don't know where I ordered it from, but I was hustling trying to find a copy of this in hardback because I really love it. This was really enjoyable. It didn't let me down. It did take me a little time to read. It's set in the 80s, and we're following a teenage girl, Andy, who works in an arcade store, like the game store, you know, in this small town. Then this new game, Polybius, turns up, this new arcade game. And it's drawing people in, and the people who play it are never the same again once they play it. And it kind of goes from there. I can't say much more about it, but if that sounds up your alley, then you'll probably really enjoy it. Really good characters, written really well. I'll definitely read more of Colin Armstrong. I thoroughly enjoyed this. It had everything I kind of liked and wanted. Like, it gave that kind of it was such a strong 80s vibe. The cover just gives it to you as well of what you're getting into. The way it built up to the conclusion and the climax of the story was done expertly, because I didn't realize once we were at the crux of it and kind of like fucking zombie outbreak feeling of it, I realized like, oh my God, how did we get here? But it felt very natural the way it progressed in the story and the way it consumed this town and this small town. So the ending was great. I enjoyed it all. I have nothing else to say about this because I can't spoil anything. But if that sounds like your kind of thing, definitely pick it up. Horror elements. It also, you know, have like the teenage 17, 18-year-old lead characters, main characters, but without feeling YA. And that's perfect sweet spot for me. And not everyone nails that. So good job, Colin. I listened to one audiobook this month, and that was You Killed Me First by John Mars. I read Keep It in the Family, and I thought that was pretty good. So I was like, fine, I was driving a lot that day for work. So I was like, I need to do something rather than listen to the same music over and over again. So I picked, You Killed Me First. I thought the voice actors were incredible. These women they knew their characters through and through. I loved the kind of Desperate Housewives vibes set in a small English town. I really enjoyed that. The wit, the humor. I love British humor. That's my humor. So I was enjoying it a lot. I found myself laughing and smiling along to certain lines and characters. And none of the characters are very likable in this, but sometimes that can be fun. And I thought it was fun in this and done really well because, like, John Mars writes really good books and he's a very beloved author. But then the last couple of hours dragged quite a bit for me. So I didn't I didn't end up loving it as much as I was in the first half. First 50%, I was hooked. I was ready. I wanted to keep listening. I couldn't stop. And then it got to the last 2 or 3 hours and I was actually checking it and I was like, how are we not done? Like, wrap this up, land the plane, John, because it did feel like it was like, hey, here's another thing and another thing, but it didn't really add value for me to the story. It just kind of got a bit like complicated and convoluted unnecessarily towards the end in my personal opinion. I think I will give it 4 stars overall. I didn't give Polybius its rating. I think I'll give that 4.25. It's not quite a 4.5, but it's more than You Killed Me First. Anyway, so I did really enjoy it. You probably don't need me to tell you about it because every man and their dog has read this. I am very behind, but really cool audiobook. Last book I read for November was The Autumn Springs Retirement Home Massacre. And when I bought this a while back, no one was talking about it. And now it's doing the rounds. So I'm glad I picked it up when I did. It took me like 2.5 weeks, maybe 2 weeks to finish, which is unusual because I was enjoying it. There was nothing wrong with it. But it's a bit chunky for like a little horror murder mystery thing. It's like 400 pages and the writing was quite small, but the cast of characters in this are amazing, very lovable and quirky and wholesome. I have a lot to say. I've got a reading vlog coming out where I read this and I talk about it a little bit more in depth in that, but I thought it was really great. I'm giving this 4.5 stars. This was my best read of the month for November and I will be thinking about this for quite a while. That has a lot to say about how we treat old folks. And Rose Dubois, our final girl, is strong and lovely and funny, witty, very humorous. There's just so much heart to this. And like I said, it was quite heartbreaking at times. There was things in this that it was like, it was a gut punch that he decided to do that to some of these characters. He did not hold back. I'll tell you that. Some of the kill scenes in this are very grisly. So if you don't mind a bit of body horror, then it's got that in it too. I love like that it was kind of like an old school horror slasher, but set in a retirement home. It is a 4.5 star book for me. I will definitely be thinking about it for quite some time. The only downside to it was maybe the reveal of who the killer was. It kind of fell flat for me. That's the only thing. Both who it was and how it was revealed. I don't know, it didn't quite work for me. The rest of the story, chef's kiss, loved it. So that is everything I read in November. I apologize that I haven't been on top of doing my monthly wrap-ups. I'm going to be better about it next year for sure. I've got many more goals for 2026 for my reading, and I'm also going to be doing a December TBR, so watch out for that video, and I have a weekly reading vlog coming as well, so I've got all the content coming your way. If you're a lover of spooky, thriller, horror books, then I would love it if you stick around, subscribe to my channel. I'm going to be here for you much more over the next year, and I'm very excited to continue to talk all things spooky dooky with you. And if you have any recommendations for any books you think I'd love based off that wrap up, then please let me know. Otherwise, I will see you in the next video. Bye!